Okay, I'm going to try that again. Although you don't know about that. Let's just start with a new level, a new open level, so that we can bring our landscape in. So we'll go File, New Level, Empty Open World, and Create. Inside here, we want to go into Landscape mode. And then we want to import from File. We want to enable Edit Layers. This, I think, is very important from the beginning. I don't know, you can enable it later, but I think it ends up causing a problem. So starting with that is a good point. The height map file, those are all those tiles that we just created. So let's go and find those. They were in that tiles directory. And we pick the first one that it created, the X0, Y0. And we say open. And it read in the entire landscape. It's good to have your material already determined here. You can start with grass or just a basic, and why not? Let's just, I'll do that. Just and bear with me if it has more problems than it should. But that's where a lot of people will probably start with just something basic. And then the only other thing to change here is to be cognizant of the scale of the map that you brought in. So that 1/3 degree data map that we brought in from Open Topography is on a 10-meter scale. So one vertex every 10 meters. And so we'll bring it in as a scale of 1,000 because that's 1,000 centimeters is 10 meters. And that's all that I change. I let it just figure all this stuff out. I don't touch any of that. And let's import. So here it goes. Takes a moment. It looks like it's done right now, but it's not. We'll update the screen momentarily. There it goes. And there is our landscape. Okay. And if we now switch back to select mode, and we, let's say, fly down to a bit of variation, which is remarkably hard to see here, but here we go. And now let's pick a material. So I've got a landscape material. And what we want to do is open this up. Since we didn't apply the landscape, well, we applied grass, so it applied it to everything. So what we need to do is actually select all of these landscape proxies. And this is where I think if you don't have sufficient computer resources, you definitely want to have that landscape material assigned at the time of import. Because right now you're going to have to select them all, and I think it loads them all, which if it was a very, very large map, could be quite consuming on memory. Right now, I'm carrying only 5 gigs of memory that's being used at the moment. And I'm going to select. I'm going to go to my content drawer here, content browser, and I've imported from another project that I'm working on, and I've got a material instance here somewhere, so I'm just going to grab that and come over here, and with all of those selected, I'm going to apply it. And that's going to take a moment. It might be done. It's all black now, though, and we are, lit or unlit. It's still all black. So the reason why it's all black is that in landscape mode, go back to landscape mode and go to our paint mode, we see all these layers that are a part of this material, but they don't have any of these, I don't even know what these are called, to be honest, layer info. So we've got to click the little plus sign, and we want a weight blended layer. It's going to, I should have saved my map. Let's cancel this. I'm going to save my map, file, save all, and we'll put it in third-person maps. That's fine, and I'm going to call it Yellowstone, and we'll say save. So that'll take a moment here. Shouldn't take too much longer. There we go. Okay, so now let's do this again. So we'll go here, and we'll go weight blended info. It's going to create a Yellowstone shared assets file, and just accept all of the standard stuff because it really doesn't matter after the fact. And I don't know why it always clicks to show you the content browser after, but it does. And then we want to do that with each of the layers. I'll just click through each one of them here. And that's so that later on, like generally the entire map is just going to use the auto layer. But then when you want to, if you wanted to paint on a different texture specifically in a different area, you could just paint it from the selected layer at this point and everything would blend in appropriately. That's what I understand anyways. So we got all those assigned. Now if we go back to, and now the last thing to do here is get your auto material and right click it and say fill layer. And that might be taking a moment, but if I go to unlit, so there it shows it all filled in, and it's obviously got this base sand layer and stuff has a height version to it, which obviously doesn't match up to this map very well, but we'll fix that in a second. But let's get the lighting set here. First thing is we will add a directional light for our sun, and then we will so there's our directional light. And then, I get out of landscape mode now and go back to select mode. And then let's add a visual effect, a sky and atmosphere. It's very nice. And then if we do a Control L, we can adjust the sun angle here. Let's pick something that looks, I don't know, something to look at. So now we're here. What we obviously have with our material is, because off in the distance I could see that, like there's a grass layer that starts there. So, and here's a piece of information that we're going to need to know is kind of like, we know that this is our water level of the lake, which obviously comes in at one point because that's all there is. So let's add a cube or something, anything you want. And let's just push end and drop it onto the ground. There it is. Oh, spun past it pretty quick there. Sorry for the crazy driving. I could probably turn that down a little bit. Maybe somewhere in there. And then let's, off the cube, if we look at its details, we can see the elevation that it's been set at. So it's at minus 176,000. So if we go now to our landscape material instance, so if I just browse to it there and open that and switch the back screen back to our landscape view, and I can minimize this a little bit more. And so we can see what's going on in our background there. We see that, basically sand is filling the whole thing. I don't know why this is still black, but I'm working on it. So layer 4 is my sand. Add sand. I say yes. And if I change that blend height to minus 170, what was it, 74,000? We see we're starting to get pretty close here. So that's minus 174, 500. No, 177. was a little bit too far. I know. That's pretty good. Let's look at that. So now we got our world filling in with all of our landscape as desired, right? Whatever your material is, have at her. And so the next step is to add water. And that I've only just recently done, and it is not without its own learning curve as well. Let's see how we can go about that. Now, one of the things that I learned was that it's important for the water plug-in to work that the entire landscape be above 0 on the z-axis. So if we look at this as 177,000 below 0, let's say we add 177,000 to all of our landscape base to get it up above 0. You know, that's going to make all of the things that we just changed change again. Now I don't need to select all of them. That was an incorrect thing to do. We could just pick our main landscape and set its Z value to 177,000. And off it went. And now we're up here. I should have had that faster camera now. And we'll zoom up. And obviously it's much lusher and greener up here because we've adjusted that in our material instance. So let's just grab our cube and we'll drag him back up to the surface here, wherever we were with that. This 3D, viewy thing is kind of funny sometimes. Where the heck is that? Oh boy. I feel for all the other people that make YouTube videos because I know how hard it is to try to do things on the fly, which from what I understand is something that you're never supposed to do. But that's okay. It only takes a few minutes. I must have flew kind of crazy, but that's okay. We'll drop this over here. Probably could have added a new one faster. And we'll just drop it onto the ground and double click to it. Okay. So we're sitting on the ground and we're now at 354, which seems like a pretty good number. And then let's go back to our material instance, which I should, I thought I didn't think I closed it. Let's grab it again. And put that in the back. And go and adjust my layer where sand comes in at 350. 360. Oh, and that's my snow layer. Maybe that should be more like 10,000. And sand was supposed to be 350. 360. Boy, am I ever. Let's turn the snow off. Our cube. 354. 350. There it is. I was blending between grass and no grass or whatever over a larger range than the actual height of it. So I guess that's what was causing that issue there. So let's say I could put this to 500. Okay, it looks kind of like a shoreline edge there. Let me just close that. And so we'll pretend that that's okay for now. So now we've got our landscape above zero, and now we're going to add the water. So, you know, there's a lot of coastline here that we're not going to want to adjust curves around and everything else, and the computer should be able to know where that is because it knows where it is. So we go to add all classes and scroll down, and the water's not here. Okay, so I need to edit, I need to enable my water plugin. So we'll go edit plugins. I'll probably make me restart here. Water. And we're going to enable this. Experimental, absolutely. Restart. Okay, I'll restart now. I'll save all those things. Just got a new computer. Looks like we're compiling shaders, which is a big complaint by a lot of people. So it's a 5950, AMD 5950, and a AMD RX 6900 XT on the video card, and 64 gigs of RAM. Basically put it together to do this work as best as I could afford and with available products. And I think improving compiling shaders is the addition of the Visual Studio 2022. As I understand it, it's a 64-bit version of the Visual Studio, which I guess Unreal 5 takes advantage of. And so it can run a lot faster in the compiling time. So I think I've seen benchmarks. They say it's like 18 to 20% faster, which is quite a bit. It's a fifth. So we're almost done here. I might pause the video through here. Or this takes too much longer, but it's good to see what it actually takes. I know that on my previous machine, which was like a decade old, yeah, this just took forever. So it is going to go on and compile these other 4900 shaders. But let's just ignore that and go and open our map. I think it put it in here. Where did it store it? Third person maps, Yellowstone. Let's open that up. And yeah, so everything's coming in. I guess it hasn't, I don't have a start spot, so it doesn't know what to do with that. But the thing is, we want to get some water in here. And let's see what happens. So now we want to add, under all classes, I scroll down to the bottom, I'm going to add a water body ocean. Okay. And now it's figuring out some more stuff here. Don't know if it wants all those other shaders done. Now there's this bounding box, which I believe is the water zone. I'm going to leave that alone for now because I'm going to kind of revisit exactly what happened or went on when I did this previously. There's my water body ocean. The nice thing about this one is from this one little circle, it then extends out and it finds all of the edges for all of your shoreline without having to change this. And that's a performance super boost, because I started to try to do it. Well, this is Yellowstone Lake, so I said, well, let's put in a lake. Well, then I had to all of a sudden start to carve all of these exterior lines by myself, and while of course they cross boundaries and stuff, which becomes a real big problem, right? That's a pretty interesting screen. Oh boy. I think it wants to finish its shaders. Oh, this is amazing. If I turn that off. I might edit this video. Well, let's give it a chance, I guess, to do these shaders. I'll likely clip this time out, but unless something else interesting happens, I don't want to lose it. So some of the things that are going to change, I don't want to do it right now, but you can see all these little crazy jiggy marks here, because there's a real, well, that was interesting. I know I'm just farting around right now. Farting around, yeah. Again, I think it wants to be, it's actually pretty good. It's at 300, so it's not above our surface. So our surface was at like 550 or something like that, or so 350, 400, 500. So I'm going to put this at 1,000. That's moving the water body ocean up so that it is slightly above our landscape. And let's see, there we go. It's starting to come in. I think it's still below water. Yeah, let's just let those shaders finish. I've never seen this big white screen before, so I'm a little bit baffled by it. But let's just give it the chance here. And similarly, this water zone, which I think is just the, I guess it's the volumetric zone to control the limits of the water. To me, I don't know why it's not at the exact same spot as the center of this. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste its location here, because I don't know why it would be offset, to be honest. If this is where the water is, and those two should be in the same spot. I guess our shaders are finished, but something really... Okay, I'll turn off the water zone for now. So there's the far distance portion of the water zone. That's down here in the properties. Somewhere. If I was looking at the right thing, yeah. If I search for it, far. Yeah, this far distance water mesh. So that's, way out there, some 400 kilometers or something away. And then here's our water body ocean, which is right underneath my feet. Okay. Oh yeah. So this is what's happening. Okay, so its default setting when it comes in is to is with its how it affects the landscape. So we're going to go down to called. Otherwise, I'd search for it. Water height map settings. And this alpha blend. So, or the blend mode. Set it to max. And all of a sudden, boop, all of our landscape showed back up. Oh, let's give it a second here. I'm just thinking. Okay. And now, let's, I'm going to turn that water zone back on. Oh, I just went crazy white again. So I'm going to fix a couple other things that I know that are an issue. So first of all, oh yeah, so this, boy, I can't stand that this landscape thing always gets reselected. This water body ocean, 2700 up, so that's fine. Blend mode is max. These fall off settings, I don't think that really matters. That's kind of just this inside bit. One thing I'm going to do first is I'm going to make this scale to be 0.2. So that closes up the inside of it. And then there is a value called the Z offset, I believe, is here. And this one, we want to bring it down, I'm going to say 2700. So that brings it down to match in with our landscape. Okay. And my cube is unloaded currently. Okay, I'm going to just add another cube right here just so we can make sure that we've got our elevations here as we know them. I'll just drop that way down there. Well, see, it came in it sat in on the water level. I think it's the first time it hits. So now there's our, because the water level is a surface, it's just turned off at the moment. It's good though. I'm underneath the water here. And that is basically on the ground. And if I check its Z value 750, yeah, that's pretty close to what we thought. Now let me find out what's going on with this thing. The blend mode max, the Z offset. Oh yeah, so then we have to go into the material, this water material. So let's browse to it and open that. And this is, I have no idea why, well, I guess they're probably good settings to have exposed of the material, but there's just so many of them. And the fact that it doesn't work out of the box makes it even more annoying. But if we click this one, enable water versus mapping, and uncheck that, right? And we'll save that. And then let's turn this water zone back on. It's getting closer. Don't know why it's, oh, maybe this water zone, maybe I got it too high. I'll bring that down to 0. Oh, and it's box extent. That seems fine. The box extent is how far into the world it should propagate. And I've made this much larger in the past to solve other issues, but I don't see why that is not a problem at the moment. So let's put this at 540. Why is my 540? Why is that not adjusting? I can't click in there for whatever reason. You're locked. No. This is why people, videos that everything just works instantly are annoying. Why am I unable to type in here? Pretty sure that was transform. Well, I'll just scroll it over then. Somewhere around there. Now let's turn it back on. I think something burnt when I was not allowing it to finish its thing. Let's save. I'm going to restart the editor and just and see if that fixes the problem here. Okay. Yeah, sure. Open my other asset window. And let's go to our map. Third person maps. Yellowstone. Oh, it's already open. I'm just daydreaming here. So there's our thing, and our water zone is apparently visible this time, and it's not blowing up, but we don't see anything. My water body ocean is on an unloaded partition. Okay, so let's so we got our camera basically here, right? So we'll go to the world partition, and we're going to just select, you know, these cells around us here, and we're going to load them. Oh, there's our water. Maybe that's why it wasn't loading in. It was just that it wasn't. Maybe the world partition had not to. Maybe I didn't have the cells loaded. But now we got our. There's our water. And, you know, it's not really, it's kind of goofy with my, my system here right now. Let's just look at the water body ocean details. I don't know why. Oh, I got 0.2, and let's go 0.2 on this side too. 0.2. 0.2. Why don't, point. Numlocks came off. Okay. And then to get rid of this last little square patch, because normally this ocean is wrapping an island, and basically I'm just forcing it to make the island so small that it doesn't matter. So if we just adjust these fall off settings, because the fall off settings come from the island and out, so I think that's right. If I make this based on the width, I don't know. The Z scale I want to keep the same because that deals with, I think, with your wave heights and stuff. Yeah. If I'm underwater, everything looks like I'm underwater. You know, I've got grass under there, but that we can play with as well. But let's just go look at, so this is what people I think are seeing, that everything's flat, and then here's the waves, right? Everything's flat, here's the waves. So this water zone, if we increase the size of this box to be, you know, the size of our whole planet. See, because you can see that as I zoom out here, that edge of that far distance water zone starts to disappear or starts to adjust all the time. And that's kind of, you know, which wouldn't look great if you were flying by in a plane, right? So if we increase this water extent, you know, all the way out and all the way out, you know, to a farther extent. I'm not going to do it all right now, but if I come in at this shoreline, yeah, I still got, if I play from here, hopefully it lets me. Yep. So we've got waves. You know, and it's a nice smooth transition with the landscape, which is nice. And we can play with the waves. If this thing would never keep, go to water body, ocean, and here's our waves. So if we made a larger wave of 1,000, that's probably maybe 100. There we got some bigger rolling waves there, and this wave depth attenuation. So this is again, I think that's like 20 meters deep. They start to get smaller. So if we brought that down to like 200, see, now we've got large waves coming in. You know, and if we play from here, you know, there's our waves. Now, if we were outside of this, in that zone of the of that far distance, the water is going to be flat there. And if we just if I just come up here for a second, and I'm going to shrink that water zone back down. So that's the, not its location, but its box extent. And if I just bring, I'm just doing a little bit of thinking as it's going here. If I just bring that here, right? So there, I kind of cut the box extent is coming right across here. And so we can see, if I play from here, let's see what happens. I'm pretty far away. Well, we can see that there's waves there, which is inside the box extents of that. And then this over here is just that far water that we're seeing. And that's the flat water that I think people are seeing. Right? So I think that I think that you create this water zone to be the full box extent, to be the full size of your map, right? And oh, I guess maybe that's always a problem too. Oh, because I think when you're playing with that, it's loading in the entire map. And obviously the water and all of its stuff takes a lot of power. But when you're normally playing, you're just going to be on a large map. You're only going to be bringing in that portion of the map that is that's near the actual generator, right? And I don't think I saved any of that either. I'd like to end on a better note than what I just did. Let's see what we got. Maybe it's got a recovery. Not that I trust those recovery things very much. Yeah, okay, so we're back to where we were, which this is not a big deal. We can probably fix those up again. If I remembered what I changed. Oh yeah, the water body's not in a loaded cell, which I guess in the world of starting points, I guess you'd probably want to have this somewhere near a start point for your game, so that it's always on a loaded cell. I'm not sure how to do that, but I'm sure that will come in time. If I load those cells, and then again back to the the scaling of this so that it's becomes a nothing. And change that blend mode. Yeah, leave it on max. That's right. Yeah, because we got our mountains. And then this water zone, you know, whatever that is, it's 195,000. So let's go 250,000 by 250,000. I don't think our map is square, but 25,000. But basically, well, maybe I put another 0 in there. There we go. That's getting close. So the other thing that happens is, so here's a case where we've got, I'll just, I'm going to save all. Okay, and I'm going to play from here. Okay, so we've got our nice wave mod going on here, and the water's, you know, coming into our shoreline a little bit of a flood happening. And, but around the corner here, if it takes too long, I'll start again at another spot. It's, so here, we can see that the water is actually not flowing to the ground. Right, the water is above my head right here, but it didn't come in nice to the and merge in with the landscape. So if I select this water body, I can see that the outline edge here. And here's the edge, and see how it goes underneath the landscape. And so then this creates this really nice transition. And here, you know, we've got this hard transition. So the change in that value is a value called, and I don't remember it, but I'll find it here. It is called it's a masking number. So if I type in mask, will it find me stuff? Darn, not this one. I don't think it's on the water zone. Let's just check my notes here. I posted about this, and water opacity mask offset. The water actor. So it's in the water body ocean. I'm sorry, I don't have that on the tip of my fingers. Water. Water body. You know what? It might be on the lake. No, water body. Another time to possibly save some editing time here. Advanced. like, really, we needed this many options open to us. Like, they should have a simple, nice material. Maybe I'll try to make one versus the one that has absolutely everything in it. Because for the simplest things, we don't need all of this option in my mind. Sure, it's nice to have it all there, but they could all be default if there's only like 3 values that anybody ever tells you to adjust. Water body mask offset. Yeah, I don't think it's in the material. Let's take a quick look there. Yeah, here it is. So it's in the material. So the water material ocean. It's actually probably in the water material base, but this one's got the aperture for the ocean. So this water opacity mask offset of minus 24 centimeters, so like 10 inches. So if your landscape isn't got that kind of variation, it ain't gonna find the edge very well, is it? So if I set this to minus 1,000, and then you obviously see in what happened in the background already, is that offset is now underneath my landscape, and it's wonderful everywhere, right? And if you're wondering, yeah, if we go, maybe just be careful and save it all. If I go into landscape mode, and if we go into sculpt, and just grab our sculpting tool here, let's just make that a bit bigger, so because we're on a pretty large scale here. If we start to brush this bigger, you know, if you wanted a little bit of a hill here, you know, it finds that edge and just tapers it right in, which I think is pretty cool. Also, what's also neat here, if we go back, I'm going to go back to select mode for a second. And you can see how far, like this is obviously very shallow, and obviously our water goes a lot bit further than this. So, you know, our elevations of the water setting and stuff like that needs to be adjusted a little bit better, or can be played with. But if we wanted that water, like if there was like an interior little pool of water here, you know, like you're on a shoreline, right? If we go into landscape and with our sculpting mode and just hold down shift and just lower this, you know, that water just flows right in, you know, and that's pretty cool, you know. So all of a sudden now you just, there you got a little island, a little channel, right? And go back to select mode. And now, you know, you probably stopped watching by now, but if we just play from here, you know, because the channel depth is quite low here, I guess, or it's probably actually deeper because of the massive tool I just used. Oh, I lost my, oh, see, so this is where I must be in the far distance. Let's go underneath the water over here and see that we do actually get the proper underwater, because there's waves here and there was no waves over there. So I'm going to run in underwater. Oh, I don't have it. All right. So there was another button that changed that. Let me see if I can find that quickly. Boy, oh boy. Why so complicated? I don't know if it's because of this, because the box extent is above and below the 0. I don't think that that was, yeah, no, we're still here. It might be the collision extents. I think this collision extent is not big enough, so it doesn't know that we're actually there. So I think we sent that box extent to like 250, 2.5 million or something like that. Yeah, let's go underneath now. Let's play from here because I can't drive a camera worth crap. There it goes. So the collision extent lets the actor know whether or not you are colliding with the actual actor, right? And so once it's underneath, then it kicks in that post-processing for the underwater condition. And obviously, it's tracking where your camera is, so you might want to do something about that. I think that's pretty good. That's all I know. I think it might be a little bit long of a video, but I think there's some things that I learned and relearned myself again here, and hopefully this helps people get this thing started. And as you can see, it works fine with world partition, and because that's just this whole thing is the whole map. We were only playing in these little center squares. Like if I go, do I want to break this right now? If I unload all cells, and if I go here, because this is my water body ocean. So let's go here. Maybe this is my whole map. I should have left on a high note. I think I broke it. There we go. Load selected cells. Play from here. I'm going to leave it there. Anyways, it works. The only other thing that I did find that might be a problem is that if the water body ocean is right on 0, 0, which is the center of your world partition map, I think it gives you a build error. So let's, I'm going to try that. I'm going to put it at 0 and 0. I had to recompute a few things, but generally I think, because we were pretty close to it anyways. And I'm going to save it all just so that I don't lose everything. And if I had to go and build landscape, it gives you this error. Water body ocean requires a landscape. Well, clearly I have a landscape. There's mountains. So if I close that, and if I just move this off, a little bit off each axis, probably doesn't have to move that much, but it doesn't really matter. It might matter in your case. And then we'll save all again. And now if I build the landscape, build all landscape, I don't get the error. So I think that's another glitch. It should allow 0, 0 there, especially in a world partition case. with that, I thank you for all of your attention. And if this was helpful, let me know. And if I learn anything more that's worth sharing, I'll do that. Have yourself a great day, and happy button clicking. Ciao.